Hi guys, General Splatton here. Today I'm doing the second part of the books from my library. I've already uploaded this once but didn't flip the image, and so I took it down and redoing it now. Alright, this is The System. It's by Verlinden Productions. This is the first book. It's called The System Volume 1, Figure Painting. Alright, get an introduction, the two authors' workspaces. It goes into tools and brushes, inspiration through source materials, museums. Talks about enamel paints and oil paints predominantly in this book, figure construction. Then it talks a lot about, like I said, oil paints mainly. You doing oil paints for flesh tones, the different results that you can achieve. Examples here of great looking flesh tones, like this is almost a photorealistic figure of Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. Patton here, bust of Patton, very lifelike. Doing the figures, construction, compositions. Goes into camouflage for all you IG players. Photo here of actual camouflage, and then goes into detail about achieving different camouflage techniques and results. Now here's an interesting thing that really I find useful is like for bases. I mean, you can, we're so used to throwing some static grass on over sand, but look at this base here with all the different types of foliage, the grass work, the stones, some of the snow, the sand. Very, very realistic and lifelike. So you can learn a lot just by studying the photos if you take the time to study and use an eye toward picking out and finding detail and studying what they did and trying to figure out how they did it so that you can benefit. I mean, you don't have to have words printed to be able to learn from these types of books. You can just do that by studying the photographs if you want to take the time and the effort to do that. But obviously having words certainly does help. Painting metallic surfaces, how to achieve good metallics. A lot of these are done by polishing techniques just off of the basic figure itself, not really much paint, if any, applied. Equipment, painting horses, and here we get into more bases and vignettes about realistic stonework, adding rubble, the composition of the piece, doing the groundwork, putting in, like I said, the rubble and detritus, there we go. Composition of it, all the different little elements that can make a very realistic scene in your basic. I find that very helpful just by studying it. Shell casings, the equipment, all of the rubble, and the building itself with the weathering and the pitting and everything. So a lot to be learned just from studying the photographs. Then just other figures throughout this book. Then it talks a little toward the end here about their products, like their Verlinden Productions modeling magazine. I don't even know I think it's still in production or something similar to it. So that's the first one, The System, Volume 1, Figure Painting by Verlinden Productions. Alright, next we move on to all three of these are Andrea Press books. These are on the fairly on the high side, $30 and $40 and on up, depending on if you get something like they got a Bill Horan Masterworks or something like that for $70-80. So I ain't got that one yet. Alright, this is an excellent publication. Talks about milliput and green stuff, things like that, sculpting in hair and details on a horse, painting the horse, assembling the horse, painting the cloth, all the different effects. This Teutonic Knight, airbrushing white and painting white with a brush, painting the bright work, the metal work. This trebuchet, good ideas for like if you're playing a fantasy army that has some type of engine like a catapult, war engine. Painting the faces of the people around the catapult, painting black cloth to look realistic. Colors are used, and the finish piece, composition of it, you know, the elements around it with the grass and the sand, gravel, dirt. Heraldry, making realistic heraldry, doing it freehand, but also doing rub-off applications here. So this Viking longship, the finished product there, beautiful piece, you know, doing the shields and the iconography on the shields, doing the sails, laying them out, spray painting them with an airbrush, using airbrush on the wood, detailing the interior, then placing all the figures, painting the figures, gives you the different colors used, like AC, that's the Andrea color. They might have some model color stuff in here. The layout of it, like I said, the rigging, everything. Now this is like for you Black Templars player, you know, the Hospitaller Knight, painting black robes, painting bright metal, painting the stonework for the base, you know, composition of it, weathering. This is a samurai bust, painting eyes. The whole head of the bust from base coat to highlights and shadows, finished result with the eye work. So, and the colors used, a lot of great material in this. This is a King Arthur in battle diorama. It takes you step by step through it. Composition, doing the rock work, doing the water, putting in the foliage, placing the figures. You can see the different tones on the rock to make them look very realistic, you know, spray painting those, doing the heraldry with the flags, and also on the cloth of the horses. So excellent work, you know, Braveheart, a knight. Now this is interesting right here. This is how to achieve very bright metal work without using paint, and this is done through a polishing method. And I'm going to show this again for the third or fourth time, but here's what I'm talking about. We're all used to seeing that for our metal on our models when we pull it out, but using, I'll call it the toothpaste method, and other steps, you can polish it up so it looks bright and shiny. This will work great on swords and axes and things like that. If you don't want to go to the trouble of, you know, priming them and painting them, you can go through the steps to polish it up. Very detailed, and the presentation of it. And also at the end they give a list of their colors, and also a little blurb about their paint and some of their publications. Now this is Knights in Miniature 2 by Andrea Press. Excellent book, painting a Templar Knight, painting up the face through base coat all the way through, painting the eyes, how they did that, painting the beard portion on the face. Then it gets into an excellent treatment on painting white and leather. So with brushwork and doing the weathering. This is an excellent section on painting up horses, using the airbrush, different tones for the oils. It talks about doing the blaze on the horse, doing the socks, excuse me, weathering, weathering the shield, damage to the shield, also dirtying up the white for the cloth. Excellent section. The colors used, once again, like basing, making this particular base of the looter. Talks about doing the stonework, setting the tones, and blending them together, and how to achieve these effects. And here's the colors used. Another piece about polishing up the metal instead of painting it, doing in eyes, doing chainmail, the method here, doing heraldry, starting here and going around through. These are decals here, and no, excuse me, these are the the rub-off transfers, but then shadowing and highlighting them to make them look like they were painted on. See, there's a before and here's the after. Colors used. Diorama positioning, composition, painting it up. You got an Italian night here where they do alterations on it, where they build it up, they add a beard to it, they add cloth work down here, they extend the hair down in the back and on the sides, also some polishing. Great little part about painting the shield and weathering it and chipping it, and then doing freehand on it and battle damage, and the colors used there. Then it gets into this diorama of the siege. Shows you how the castle was built, different sections, how it was put together, doing the stonework, doing the woodwork as well, laying it all out. Here's a picture of the finished product. Very good about the painting the terrain and the sand and the rocks and the crevices in the rock, the flagstones, the shadows work, the highlight work, the vegetation used on it. And here you get the end result right there. Very lifelike, almost like a aerial photograph of an ancient archaeological site. Painting the walls, weathering the walls, staining the walls. And gets into talking about wood here as well, and rubble, how that was achieved, the colorations and painting there. Then once that's done, it talks about altering figures with green stuff and milliput to get the desired pose of the figure that you want on horseback. Painting the faces, painting all the armor, painting the fabric, painting white, and then doing a scroll work on the white, boots, horses, everything. Painting this particular knight, alterations, painting its face, and then showing you all the different figures and how they come together to produce the end result. Excellent, excellent work. And then toward the end, it gives you a list of some of their books and publications that they have out about different modeling techniques. So excellent book, really enjoyed that. Now here's the main thing I want to show you that really kind of got me thinking and started about all this. I highly recommend this book, and I've saved the best for last. How to Paint Fantasy Miniatures by Andrea Press. Now this is an expensive book. I paid $30 or $40 for it, but it was money well spent. Excuse me. Alright, he goes into talking about an introduction, basic techniques about doing this work, assembling it, cleaning it. Then right here it talks about this. This is a Corvus Belli miniature, and it talks about blending, and it starts here with a base coat and goes all the way up in shade until you get a tonal change like that from dark to light. And this was not done with an airbrush. This is strictly in here to show you how you can achieve these types of results, which is right there, with a brush. I mean, it's step by step. You got 1 through 6, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then each block corresponds to a picture, and very easy to follow and very detailed. Excellent stuff. Airbrushing Conan and using a brushwork on it for the skin. How to do effective blood splatters and blood effects on weapons. Then it gets into advanced techniques. Here's St. Celestin from Games Workshop. How to do non-metallic metal gold. Starting off with a base coat and going all through the different sequences. And here they are following it. Just, for each box there's a corresponding little explanation with it about what they did, what they were trying to do. Excellent on non-metallic gold. Here's a Catachan Ogren, and basically excuse me, what they're highlighting here is the flag itself that was handmade. Is on one side it's painted with a skull motif, and on the other side it's got a tiger. And the results, if I can show it here, we can get it in focus without a glare on it too much. Let's see, there we go. An amazing figure. Looks like he's gonna just hop off the page. Now here's an interesting one about basing again, about creating a Robin Hood and going through the selection of it, putting down the riverbed, painting the riverbed, doing the foliage. See it step by step, adding the foliage, adding the resin, sculpting in the resin to add ripples and whatnot. Very detailed, and you just follow along. Each little photo gives an explanation of painting the figure, and then the end result right here. Beautiful model. Here's another GW figure for this is Gandalf. It talks about starting with the base coat, then adding the lighting effects from the lava coming up underneath, but also coming down from the brightness of his white light on the staff coming inward, and how final result is how they meld together right there to produce that particular miniature. So, and the effects that they went through. Then we get over to masterpieces, and doing this elf. Yeah, talks about doing the face, doing the gold work on the breastplates, doing the scale mail, as well as freehand, and doing the cloth. Then it gives you right here 4 excellent examples of the same miniature, done in different ways. You've got a kind of a neutral gray one right here, another green one. Then you got like a dark elf thing going on over here with a purple. So neat idea with the blue hair. So and then you got Dimrost, the silver fang. Shows you about doing his eyes. This is a bust from Games Workshop, doing the skin tones. How it starts out so dark, and then they bring it up to that. Airbrushing the shoulder pauldrons and the armor, and so you get that as a final effect. And then that amazing pauldron right there. So, and then gives you close-ups. Let's see if I can get it all in there. There's something that any Spayful player is gonna just love. Beautiful model. I mean, the resolutions on these models is, you know, well below 6 inches. Now, here you see the orc again. This is my favorite section, talking about the orc, doing the face, doing the skin work, doing skin work here. But here's the main thing I want to show you about this cloak on the back, with the fur. It just goes from, you know, the basic all the way out, using washes and airbrush and different tones, till you get that as a finished result. I mean, that is astounding. That is so beautiful. The great fur work, and the belt, and how it all comes together until you get, let's see, that. And they kind of put it in a picture right there, so it looks like he's, you know, it's real life. Here's the back of the cape right there. Beautiful work. Absolutely stunning. Another Rackham figure, and then in toward the back it gets to different people's work that they make mention of for examples. Different companies, different work produced. You know, just stunning work. So I can't recommend this book highly enough. How to Paint Fantasy Miniatures from Andrea Press. So well worth your time. Yes, it's kind of expensive. For all of these, look on eBay, look at Amazon.com, sometimes Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, and retailers Sometimes they're doing closeouts on things, and you can get a book for 50% off. Hoping to get some video responses about some of your books. Maybe you got something that I'd like to pick up eventually, and so I'd love to see what you've got, and I think the other guys would too. So if you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I look forward to hearing from you, and hopefully this is the last time I'm going to have to do this on this video. So this is General Splatton. I'll talk again. Dismissed.